Hey guys, what's up? My name's Anger Branch. We're jumping back into Persona 4 Golden right now on PC. We're getting ready to go chase after Adachi and save the world. I don't want to know if saving the world. This might be a little extreme. But here we go. We are going after him. It's going to be fun and frustrating at the same time. We're going to have some of the highest level enemies in the game at this point. We're also going to have to deal with some tougher fights too. Just because they're higher level doesn't mean they're going to be easier for us to take down, even though I think at this point every member in our party is level 99. I think every member of our team as a whole is probably pretty close to level 99 as well. I think we're all in the upper 80s. Off screen we took care of the last of the mini bosses that we can take care of at this time, meaning that we should be able to unlock the next and final challenge, the ultimate challenge. You guys have played Persona games before, or you know about them.
Oh, be careful!
You guys do know that in Persona games there is that ultimate side mini-boss that's tougher than the final boss in the game. They really kind of test your patience. There is a way to win those fights. It sucks how you have to do it sometimes, but I'll talk about that in another video. We'll actually have that fight in its own video at some point in the future. Probably going to post that when we beat the game. That way, when we finish these videos, all of them are posted. You'll see that side boss. Beating that boss is not a requirement for the golden ending. Just so you guys know, we don't have to do it to get the ultimate ending. It's just something on the side. There's a trophy for it that we want to get all of them in the game up until the last one. And now I gotta strongly suggest now that we have 45 keys that we kind of start using them more often now. They don't carry over to New Game Plus. If you're gonna do a second playthrough or a third playthrough, those keys, most of your items aren't going to carry over. What does carry over though is your money and your Persona Compendium. I know it doesn't sound like much. I think 5 had a better carryover rate in my opinion, but it is what it is, and that is all she wrote. So we found the stairs here. This is going to be one of those more trickier dungeons to get through because the dungeon master is Adachi. Adachi's one of those guys who's going to be really like, hey, we're going to put stipulations on the things that you can do in these dungeons, out on these floors. So he's kind of going to be a bit of a dick about it, so to speak. That's fine. We'll probably be able to blow through it relatively quickly. We're going to try to avoid as much combat as possible because, like I said, we're going to need all of our full SP and HP for the boss. This is not going to be an easy walk in the cake boss. I think there's like 2 or 3 sort of like things. Like, you know how when you get to a final boss in an RPG game, they have like 5 to 6 phases. The older the game is, the more phases they have. Yeah, it's kind of like this. It's going to be one of those things where it's going to be really tough. I'm not going to lie. I feel like in more recent RPGs, especially JRPGs, the final bosses have gotten a lot easier. The Persona 5 final boss was tough, I'm not gonna lie, but like it was a lot easier. And the same thing with the Persona 5 Royal final boss. Like they're tough, but they're fair. These are just feel a little ridiculous, so to speak, because we're constantly like, you know, going from fight to fight to fight to fight, and you don't have that opportunity to fully reheal or regain your SP or PP, which is the tough part. We want to make sure we have all that stuff as close to being at the top of our game as possible, and we want to make sure we're at a higher level. If my records show, I think the final boss in this is like level 75 to 80, so if you are not at that level or much further above, you're going to be in for a hard time. I've played this game before when I was under leveled, and I learned the hard way.
Oh, that's not good.
About how you want to be at the highest level possible at most points in the game, because I went in very first time playing these games, played Golden on the Vita, was one of the first times I played it, and I think I played 4 on the PS2. I went in the Shadow Teddy being under level because I didn't have a hard time beating it, getting up to that point in the game before, and I got my ass handed to me by Shadow Teddy, and it was not a good time. So I strongly encourage spending some time and going in and grinding out some levels. It doesn't really, I really suggest it unless you're one of those people who don't really like the battle system and you'd rather make it as easy as possible, you could just tweak the difficulty settings, which is always the option that you have at the same time. But I strongly suggest, even if you do tweak the difficulty setting, to grind out a little bit. You want to be at or above the level of the boss. You don't know what level the boss is unless you're actually going through using a guide at the same point in time. That is a thing here. So we're going to jump in this hole in the ground, kind of working our way around here. Now this seems kind of silly. We got to the second floor here and we have to jump in the hole. So what we have to do is we have to go through here. We have to progress through these levels in the dungeon and beat the side boss, the mini boss, before we have to make all the way back to the top of the dungeon, which is, once again, like I said, it's a very frustrating situation as a whole for this dungeon, because we have to go through all these steps. We go to 2 floors in the first one. Can't go through because of Dotch is being a dick, and we have to jump through that hole and go through about 7 or 8 floors down here. And then, to make matters worse, is we're gonna have to go all the way back up.
Don't let it get away.
All the way back up. We can't, like, I don't think we can really cheat our way out. So it does create that little bit of a level of frustration for us as the player. Stupid hand. Those hands are much bigger than they usually are, so that's an interesting situation too. Alright. We are not going to be able to get Shuffle Time again after this one, which is fine. And see, now it says only level 98. Now I thought she was going to be 99. I always lose track of what levels my characters are. We did want to level up Teddy and Yosuke and everyone else, make sure they're at a high enough level in case we need to switch out our party members before a fight. You always want to, I know a lot of people play these kind of games, RPGs, and you have, like, say 7 or 8 characters throughout the entire game, and you kind of have to balance your party and switch them in and out. Final Fantasy, like, 7 is like that. I know a lot of these great JRPGs where the back characters in your party, they don't get experience points. Persona 4 is definitely one of those games where the characters that aren't in your main party don't get the experience points that you get from the main party.
Oh, be careful.
Which is frustrating to say the least, because you're not getting those experience points for your guys. So, like, for example, you see Kanji, Teddy, Yosuke are all not in our party at this time, and they're not getting that experience point boost. So they're going to be like, say you guys reach like 10 levels here, they're going to be 10 levels behind, which is that frustrating thing. Now, Persona 5 fixed it where the back party does get a percentage of experience points, so they do kind of level up with you to an extent. They'll be like maybe a little bit lower behind, which is fine. I'll take them getting a third or a half of the experience points the main party gets, to kind of make it so you're not kind of forced to really grind out to make everyone balanced. I mean, for me, that doesn't bother me as much as it normally would. I don't mind grinding as much, but like most good JRPGs, they're going to allow your entire party to get experience points. I'm not saying Persona 4 is not a good JRPG, it's one of the best. They just don't, they want to make it a bit of a challenge. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just really would prefer if, as a whole, the game is like, okay, that's fine. You want to use, a lot of people are going to use the same party members throughout the entire game. So it's not like it's that big of a deal as much as you think, because if you guys didn't notice, protagonist is always your party. Fine, whatever. I almost always kept Chie in the party. Chie has almost always been an exclusive member of the party because Chie is Chie. She's a frickin' tank, and she's just gonna whoop your booty in the shape with her power charge in God's Hand or power charge in Agni Hysteria. She just kicks ass. So just leave it as that. She is a literal ass kicker, to say the least, and that is one of the things I love about Chie as a character as a whole. And then we kept Yukiko in the party almost the entire game too. At first it was Yosuke was our 4th member, and then we did use Kanji for a little bit. We used Teddy briefly, and then Naoto joins the party, and Naoto becomes a permanent party member as well. And we do the same thing with Persona 5 as well. I do have like a set party for most of these games that we really just focus on using more often than anyone else, and it does hurt the other members of the party. Outside of it, it looks like this is going to be one of those map levels on the floor here where we really do kind of have to listen to a stipulation that Dachi puts out. As much as we hate it, So we're kind of gonna have to just walk around here on this line, see how far back we go. And it looks like this is the edge of the map here. So yeah, because like I played Persona 5, and like outside of Makoto, Ryuji, and Ann, those were the main people I used in my party here. Later playthroughs, the party changed a bit. Royal's party is definitely a lot different than what I thought it would be too.
Don't let it get away.
Damn, messed that up big time. All right, that's fine. And this is why I love Chie. She has this move. It does high. I don't know if it's high or if it's like a lot. It does a decent amount of damage. I don't know if it's severe. Severe would be god. Oh my god! How am I missing all these attacks? All right, Yukio's gonna be good for this one. There we go. All right, Yukio gets. Oh yes, Chie's gonna galactic punch the bejesus. Yes, Chie. Did you see the amount of damage that thing did? That thing did 32,000 damage. 32,000 damage. That's insane. I don't know if you guys know there are mods in these games on PC. There's a lot of crazy mods out there since I saw the damage. There's one mod that actually gives Chie Galactic Punt as a regular move, and it's ridiculous. It's unfair. I was looking at it, I'm like, that'd be an interesting thing to see Chie do a Galactic Punt move all the time, and that would be pretty freaking sweet. Now we got kicked back. Oh, he kicked us all the way back to the actual beginning of the dungeon. Okay, that blows chunks, to say the least. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I need to pay better attention here. We're only back at World 1, so we're back at the first floor of the bottom half of the dungeon. That sucks, but I guess we'll say it was worth it to get all that experience points for Naoto. I don't know. Now we're just going to kind of run through here as much as possible. We don't want to really fight too many shadows at this point. Screw it. Screw it. That's what I'm thinking right now. We're just going to kind of run through here and just get it over with at this point. You know, we messed up big time there, and like I said, there are stipulations that Adachi will put out there throughout here, and it's as annoying as it is. You kind of have to follow the rules, because if you don't follow the rules, you're going to end up having what happens where you're going to get kicked back out. And we don't want that. We could have gotten to the third floor easily at this point, and no, we had to fight the damn golden hand. We had to do it because we're stupid people. We're very stupid people.
I couldn't defeat it.
By the way, the damage is ridiculous. Ridiculous. Keeping on right now. We're going to keep on just kind of running around. Right now we got to avoid all kind of combat situations here because Adachi said so. We don't want to be getting in the kicked back out to the beginning of the map here. That would be the worst thing, is we get kicked all the way back up to the beginning of the game. Not the beginning of the game, but the beginning of the map. I don't want to do that. It's frustrating to me to have to keep going back to the beginning and keep going all the way back up.
Rare one. Don't let it get away.
Especially since I don't know how many floors this dungeon is. This dungeon could be like 6 floors, and we could be like a third of the way there, and we keep having to go all the way back to the beginning. That would really suck, and it's like that thing running away sucks. I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. I don't know why I keep getting into these fights, since the fact that...
Enemy down. Hang in there, Naoto-kun.
Since the fact that we're already have our entire party at level 99. I don't know what the point is of this. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Busting heads and looking cool. Couldn't quite beat it.
Damn it, it's gonna escape.
One enemy to go.
Nope.
Keep it up.
We're doing a lot of damage. This is ridiculous.
We won.
Over 2,000 damage from a basic attack. I don't know, man. That's a little excessive there. That's definitely excessive on our part. Why not? I thought we had the next floor unlocked here, but we don't. So we're gonna keep on trucking through, so to speak, here. So we should actually be getting close to that. No, I thought it was gonna be in this room. Let's see. But yeah, no, we're getting to that end game situation here. Obviously, it's going to be really a really intense fight, to say the least. I don't see how this would be like a walk in the park kind of fight with Adachi. There has to be more to it. Obviously, he's able to enter the TV world. Obviously, he has some kind of power. So now we're not allowed to encounter any shadows on floor 3. So we're going to have to just run as fast as we can and try to find the stairs, the steps, as fast as we can, because if we get into another encounter again, we're gonna get screwed over and have to go all the way back to the beginning. So right now, we're gonna keep running all the way up to the top here, get a feel for where the end of the floor is going north. So we're gonna keep going as far this way as possible and kind of going up north every single time to see if there's the stairs or if there's just a pathway. And that was actually pretty easy for us to figure that out. Now we actually get to go through here. We have a boss fight. Not really a boss fight. Kind of a mini boss here. Dachi's really just coming off as a spoiled brat of a child right now. Saying all we deserve to fight is shadows. I mean, he's not necessarily wrong, but he's going to be in for a rude awakening when we kick his Rudy Poo candy ass, like The Rock says. So Migadolan didn't do as much damage as I thought it would do, so we'll do it again with Naoto here. And there we go! Oh, so close!
Quite tenacious.
And we're going to finish him off with Chie. Chie's going to do a lot of damage now. Good meat stick. Well, it didn't do as much damage as I thought it would. And like I said, we want to be at a higher level. If we're at a higher level at this point in the game, that fight would have been relatively easy like it was. They didn't get to do much damage to us, so we're actually getting really close to the next floor here. This door should have the steps. Yep, there we go. See? And we're going to actually check out the chest down over here. What kind of chest is it? If we can open the door successfully here. It's just a regular, ordinary chest. Eventually, I'm surprised we haven't encountered the Reaper yet. We haven't encountered the Reaper yet in a long while. I think the Reaper has a higher percentage of appearing on this dungeon. Just a heads up for you guys, because if we encounter the Reaper, have a higher percentage of encountering the Reaper in this dungeon, which would make sense, more likely than not you're going to get him, which is another reason why you want to be at a higher enough level so you can actually take him down. We have encountered him before. I think we've encountered him only once so far. We've encountered him twice in this playthrough. First time we encountered him was in Yukiko's dungeon. We got our asses handed to us, like handed to us. Like we got pwned. After that, we encountered him again in Naoto's dungeon. I tried finding him outside of our recordings when we were doing some little grinding here and there. It's really hard to come across him, to be honest with you guys, because he's not something that'll just pop up out of nowhere. It's just how it is. It's not something we're gonna just find willy-nilly. You really have to take some time to really go and look for him. And if you haven't fought him yet, that is a trophy in the game. I suggest trying to get it. It's worth it. You're not gonna get a lot of experience points or money out of it, but you do get the best weapons in the game for each character. So we have these 4 characters. We fight them 4 times. We get each of these 4 characters' best weapons, and then it'll do armor. It actually really works. It really works out if you feel like doing all that grinding. It's a lot of work, to say the least, because you have to kind of find the time to find him. And there are strategies for getting him, but you're not always going to find him. That's the worst part. So we're going to really, if we kind of encounter him right now, it's fine. Like I said, we got the trophy already in a previous playthrough and everything like that. We've also already gotten the main character, the protagonist's best weapon right now, so we don't have to really worry about getting it. Everyone else's weapons are pretty good. They're not the best. If we do cross them, awesome. If we don't, we don't. It's just the way things work. Not gonna lie, that's just how it is. Last playthrough we got three times.
Reset scan. Oh, it's weak to physical attack.
Soda.
As we said, Migadolan's going to be our best friend at this point in the game. If we keep using Migadolan, we'll be fine in our battles against regular shadows.
Careful, it's immune to physical attack.
So we're just going to keep Migadolaning everything we can, as much as we can. Because every time, if you have a persona that has that move, you are going to be fine. Because no enemy is immune to it, no enemy is weak to it, you're going to be okay. It's going to do decent damage no matter what. So you don't really have much to worry about, other than, running out of SP if you're using Migadolan too much, which is why Victory Cry is so important as a move. You need to make sure you have Victory Cry equipped. There are ways to get Victory Cry.
Ooh,
it's really hard to do, especially since some characters you can't give them Victory Cry, since Victory Cry is only inherited by at least one persona. You kind of have to make sure you find a way to get your skill cards changed, which would be
Let's go.
keeping an eye on the fusion calendar in the developer room. If you keep an eye on that, there will be days where
Well, Nato-kun, you never lose your cool.
skills will change based on what they are. There's a specific day in June where it begins, where you can keep fusing Kaiwan until you get Victory Cry, and then I use Kaiwan to pass it down to every single persona I can. So we do have a lot of personas in the game that have Victory Cry in this game right now that have Victory Cry, because that is an essential move to have for your personas. If you like having that the best possible persona you can have, it is something you can actually do. So just throwing it out there for you guys. Try to keep an eye off that. I know it's a date in June, either after or around the time you do wrap up Kanji's dungeon, I believe it is. I'm not 100% sure. It took me about 5 hours in game to actually do it. What you do is you're gonna kind of save abuse that as well. I tried making a video for that for you guys, but it took forever, and it took way too long to be able to do that. Needless to say, we kind of definitely gave up on trying that, and we're just kind of running around here through the dungeon right now. We want to avoid as many encounters as possible. I keep saying that over and over again as we keep pulling up encounter after encounter after encounter, which is fine if we could do it in one turn, because our character, our protagonist, has Victory Cry on almost every persona in our stock right now, and having that Victory Cry will give our full MP and HP restoration. I know. I'm not 100% sure. I know Social Link ranks with Risei, you do get HP and SP restoration after every battle, so it's not as severe of a drop. You'll get a little bit back every single time. You're not going to be guaranteed to get your full HP and SP back with Risei's Social Link upgrades. And I wish that you could give Victory Cry to your party members, because imagine Chie with Victory Cry being able to God's Hand and Power Charge every turn. That would be pretty sweet, because then there would be no point in using anyone else other than Chie. And it would be helpful for Yukiko as well, because Yukiko would be able to heal all the time in-game, but that's not something we're able to do anyway. Keep on wandering around here, trying to find the next level. If you guys haven't figured out this one, this floor specifically has a very specific pattern. It's literally like a maze, so to speak, where we're kind of going in, and then we kind of cut a corner, kind of boxing ourselves in. So I think this is actually going to be the last floor in this portion of the map, because I think in here is going to be a mini-boss. And that's what it looks like. Alright, and this is also a dead end, so we're going to have to go all the way back through the 6 floors, then go all the way back up those 2 floors
Darkness won't work.
in order to fight Adachi and take him out and save the day. So we're going to mind charge with our main character because we know this is going to be not going to be an easy fight. And we're going to do the same thing we're here with Naoto. And Chie is going to do the same thing as well. We're all going to be focusing on taking this thing down as quickly as we can. It's not going to be easy. I don't know what if these kind of bosses don't have any weaknesses. They don't have any. They usually do have like resistances, like they do right now. We can't use fire attacks. We're going to avoid fire attacks. So right now, Yukiko's going to be our main. She's going to be our healer right now. Let's see what Rise does. Rise gave us HP. That's great. Going to Migadol on him from our protagonist. Listen, this is going to be a longer fight than usual. Remember, we're at level 99. Our entire party is at level 99. We're pretty high at level right now. We really need to make sure that... Resist that. Okay. And there we go. Chie wiped him out. So, I don't know if he was inherently weak to physical attacks, but physical attacks really did the damage there. But remember, it's Chie. Chie is ridiculously strong. So now we actually have to turn around and go back all the way up to 6 seconds. I don't know if a go home will work, but first we're just going to heal everybody. I'm pretty sure a go home actually won't work. Let's see. No, actually the go home worked. Okay, I actually wasn't sure if the go home was going to work or not. That's a little bit of a trick. If you're under level, go all the way back up there, and then you can kind of go from, I guess it's floor 6 down in the Magatsu world, and go all the way back up and kind of fight your way back up there, because the stronger shadows will be at lower levels. And as you work your way up, you're going to get easier shadows to beat. Like, we're at one of the easier portions of the game right now. Not game, but an easier portion of this dungeon. So we're not going to have the toughest shadows in the world to face, which is great for us. Because we're just going to try to blow through here and get to the boss. We want to make sure we get to that. We're not going to do the boss today in the video here. That's going to be another video because it's a long fight, if I recall correctly. And there's a lot of story that takes place after it. It's really a long, lengthy sequence, and we want to make sure we're ready for that. Today, our goal was to see if we could actually get to the boss in one fell swoop. And if you guys have noticed throughout our playthrough here, at this point in time, only 2 of our dungeons we were able to get through to the final floor in one go, and that was Yukiko's Castle and Heaven for Nanako. And the reason being is that Yukiko's dungeon is meant to be inherently a smaller dungeon, is kind of to introduce you into the elements of going through a dungeon. And it's also the first one. Nanako, we kind of blew through that one because we wanted to just run through it. We wanted to avoid as much combat as possible because we were already, most of our party was in the upper 80s. Well, Naoto was in the 80s, and our main party was in 99. So we don't want to go through and have to use up all our time fighting. We do want to do some fights there. It'd be monotonous to just kind of wander around a dungeon for about 20 minutes. So if there's a fight to be had, there's a fight to be had. But we want to kind of make it to the end of the dungeon as quickly as possible. We want to reach that conclusion, have that savory moment where we finally finish this game and we've beaten Persona 4, and it feels good as a whole. Next time, guys, we're taking down Adachi. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.